At long last, I've received my Elecraft KH1. So what do I think of this? Let's find out up next. Welcome to the House of Ham. I'm Bob WV7W, and I ordered the Elecraft KH1 on the 29th of October, just about a week after it was announced. I received it the other day, and in this video I will give you my first impressions of this little guy. Now, I ordered the Edgewood package, which includes the KH1, the internal antenna tuner, the whip, the KHPD1 paddle, the logging tray, the battery, internal charger, and the case. Now, I know there are those of you out there that ordered this a la carte, but if you want one of these things, I would suggest that you go for the full enchilada. You are really going to want all that comes with the Edgewood to get the most out of the KH1. Now, I have taken the past few days getting to know the KH1. I actually started that journey soon after I ordered, as I'd been going through the manual on a regular basis. And as always, the Elecraft manuals are well thought out and easy to understand. Let's talk about the size of this thing. It is small, and I mean really small, even smaller than it looks in the pictures and videos you may have seen. Once you get your hands on it and realize how small and light this thing really is. For comparison, here is the KH1 next to my KX2. Let's just say there's a noticeable difference in size and weight. Elecraft has always done a great job of building quality products that are designed to last. Now, if you're looking for something that is waterproof and can be run over by a tank, like say the Lab 59 TX500, you may want to forgo the KH1 or even the KX2 or KX3 for that matter. You do still have to be careful with them, but they're tough enough to withstand the typical portable operator. The KH1 is well built as either of its larger siblings. Case is aluminum with 3D printed end caps, but don't confuse this with what you may get off of your consumer 3D printer. These are industrially printed parts that do not look 3D printed. There are no layer lines, and they really look like they could be injection molded. Now, although the screen is small, it is well laid out and very readable in all light conditions. The blue backlight is permanently on. Now, I really like the way they laid out the information not only on the main screen, but in the menus as well. The display is a 2-line, 16-character per line alphanumeric display. So the menus and functions tend to be a bit more descriptive than on the KX2 or KX3. Now, the user interface for this little radio is pretty Spartan. There's only 4 buttons and 2 knobs. But don't let that put you off. Wayne and Eric have done a wonderful job of taking these limited controls and coming up with a very easy to use system. For those used to a button and knob for every feature, you may initially rail at the lack of dedicated controls. But for a field radio, you have to give up some of that extra stuff for size and weight. The 1 and 2 buttons control the keyer speed up and down by short pressing them. Short pressing the 3 button will tune the automatic antenna tuner. Short pressing the 4 button will take you into the CW message menu. By long pressing the 1 button, it will take you to the receiver submenu. Once you're there, short pressing the first 3 buttons will give you the 3 filter width options, as where the 4th will take you out of the menu altogether. Long pressing the first 3 buttons will give you the attenuator options, and the 4th will turn on the RIT. Back on the main screen, long pressing the 2nd button will give you the programmable functions with short presses. And one thing of note is that the menu will show you an abbreviation of what those functions are programmed for, unlike the KX2 where you just had to remember exactly what they're set to. This is a very nice feature. Now, I won't go over the rest of the functions in this video, as I'm planning on doing a full tutorial of the menus and features. If you're watching this in the future, I'll put a link up here as well as in the description once that video is done. As a testament to how easy this radio is to use, I showed my friend Dan how to change bands and activate the tuner, and he was moving around the bands trying to hunt some POTA stations from my backyard. We didn't get any, but after looking at the propagation chart, that is no wonder. Every band was showing poor. Now, I was picked up by the reverse beacon network, both on 20 meters and 15 meters. Not bad considering the conditions. Now, the KH1 actually has 6 CW memories compared to 3 on the KX2. At first glance, you may miss 4 through 6 messages as it isn't necessarily in your face on how to get there. You have to go into the message record page, and then if you long press the 4 button, will take you to the other group. Long pressing again will take you back to 1 through 3. The way I set mine up is using 1 through 3 for POTA and 4 through 6 for SOTA. I may rethink those to match the way I have it on my KX2, which is 1 for POTA CQ, 2 for SOTA CQ, and 3 for my thank you 72 call sign. The point is that you have options. Sending the messages is exactly like on the KX2. Short press the 4 button for messages, button 1 through 3 with a short press will activate the message. Long pressing will repeat that chosen message at whatever the interval you have set, which the default is 7 seconds. One little annoying thing I notice is that the keyer speed goes in increments of 2. And I'm not sure why they chose that, as I prefer to go in single word per minute increments. Does it really matter? No. But I'm a control freak. The KH1 paddle that I got with mine is the new updated version of the paddle, to which there were some improvements made. And you can easily tell if you have the new one, as it has the black PC board instead of the green of the initial batch. Since I've never used the original design, I won't be able to give you a comparison, but I will say that the new version is perfectly usable. It is not going to rival the feel of most larger paddles out there, but it'll work well for its intended purpose, and it stores conveniently on the radio. Simply pull it out and rotate it 180 degrees, plug it back in to use. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but I think it will work great for portable ops. Now, if you're someone who is very picky about the feel of a paddle, you may not like this one. However, if you don't mind a little heavier, more spaced out feel, this will probably work right out of the box for you. Now, I did have to adjust mine as I found the spacing to be just a bit too wide and it was giving me some trouble. After a quick adjustment, it works pretty darn well. Now, they did put a lighter spring in the new version as well, and I didn't find it to be overly heavy. The logging tray was an interesting addition. I don't know if I would have thought of it, but I think that it will be super handy either in pedestrian or if you really just want to take the KH1 and don't want to have to worry about dragging anything else along. This also serves as a cover that protects the screen and the buttons. I have heard from several folks that initially the cover is very tight once it closes, and wow, they weren't kidding. It does loosen up over time, but the first couple of times I opened it, I was afraid I was going to break something. It does seem to be loosening up some. Now, it came with this tiny little pen that fits in the clip of the logging tray, but I prefer a mechanical pencil. And someone on one of the KH1 Facebook groups posted this one that I got off of Amazon. And if you want one for yourself, it's only about $7. I will put a link for it in the description. Time will tell which I prefer, the pen or the pencil, but for now, I got both. The logging sheets you print yourself. There are 8 sheets per 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, so you can keep as many of these as you want. The nice thing too is that if you want to customize these sheets, knock yourself out and have it your way. For POTA and SOTA, I find the Elecraft design sheets to be perfect. Now, you can download a PDF of these sheets on the Elecraft website. Now, while I'm talking about logging, let's talk about the digital logging feature that this has. It will log all of your sent text. The KX2 will do this as well, and I've never used it, but I think I will use it on this one. You actually can review the log on the display, although not particularly fast to go through them. But it does give you the time and date timestamp. So if you're out and about and forgot who you had a QSO with, this might be just what you're looking for. You can also review it using the USB cable and software just like you could with the KX2. We will see how much I use it, but I appreciate that it's there, especially on this type of rig. The receiver on the KH1 is a superhet design, so it sounds very much like the KX1. It actually has a very nice sound to it. It isn't going to top the Sherwood list, but to keep the design simple and the battery usage down, Eric and Wayne made the decision to go with an analog design over the SDR type of the KX2 and KX3. Now, there were a lot of complaints early on about the side tone of the early units. It had a pretty raspy sound to it that I heard from the videos. I'm happy to report that mine sounds just fine. I have firmware version 1.25 in mine. Now, it may not be quite as nice sounding as my KX2, but it's completely usable. I don't find it at all annoying. The case that comes with the Edgewood package is well designed and of great quality. It has 2 pockets on the front. I keep my earbuds and either the pen or the pencil, whichever I'm not using, in the larger pocket. In the smaller one, I keep this little guy here, which is the N6 ARA paddle. I'm going to be doing a video on this very soon. Like I said at the top, you're going to want the full Edgewood package. The whip antenna and the antenna tuner are really the secret sauce that makes this a pedestrian mobile dream. If you're going to go a la carte on ordering the KH1, don't skip this part, as it's essentially an AX1 with a loading coil inside the radio. This feature is what is going to allow you to literally deploy this radio and get on the air in less than a minute. You just screw the whip on and deploy the counterpoise, and make sure you don't skip that last part, or you'll only have half your antenna system, and it will just not work for crap. Many hams that gripe about these small compromise style antennas are either not using a proper counterpoise or not deploying them properly. If done correctly, you'll have a much better shot at success. Now, will it perform as well as a dipole or larger vertical? Of course not. But you can get on the air and make contacts. I've proven that with the AX1 of my KX2, and I'm sure it will prove successful on this one as too. So, if you want to get one of these for yourself, how long are you going to have to wait? Well, here's the bummer. You're looking at 4 to 5 months at the time of this video. If you think at all that you want one of these, get your order in and get on the waiting list. Elecraft will not charge your card until it's about a month from shipping, so you can change your mind anytime along the way. I can't imagine too many people are going to do that, though. I've only had mine for a couple of days, and I've made a couple of QSOs on it from home, and I'm hoping to get it up on the Summit very soon, and I'll be sure to do a video on that as well. My first impressions of this radio are all positive. Every time I play with it, I get a grin on my face. I'm very happy to have it, and the wait has been well worth it. I am looking forward to getting this thing outdoors a lot this spring and summer. But am I going to ditch my KX2 now that I have this one? Not a chance. They both have their place, and I think I'll get a lot of use out of both of them. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this informative. If you did, please do me a favor and mash that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to get notified. Until next time, 73.